Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you all. The market is moving and things are good. A little push up. We're almost at yesterday's high. Morning, Paul. Hey, Neil. Morning, Joanne. Michael, Jonathan. Good morning, Julian. Hey, Tom. All right, let's map out this little structure here. Nice little uptrend. May even be a secondary channel. It certainly has that look to it. Be monitoring that. Joanne, you are watching the tournament. It's me trading. Yes, every trade I take is going to be for the tournament. You're getting a pullback to the moving average. What's with the... I don't have any levels above us on ES? That can't be true. No way. Is that the all-time high? Can't be. All right, that's what I thought. There's some other stuff up here. All right, that looks to be the all-time high there. All right, much better. Now we got some levels above us. There's the opening bell, and we are getting after it, folks. See if we get any support here on the 21. NQ is right at yesterday's high. We had a bullish bar here. I'll take it. So far the EMA not holding, but again, if this turns around, I'll be in it. Morning gaming. It's a nice little close above the 21 there. We might get a pop, playing that notion. NQ's popping up above yesterday's high. Watch for another higher low here. That's a pretty decent bar. NQ actually made a new high. ES is not really participating. So NQ a little bit stronger, but that is what you want to see on a rally. Maybe tech leading the way. That does bode well for the market. Take one more shot at a long here with NQ strong and ES probably still needing to make a new high. See if we can push, baby. We get above that little swing, it should be pretty free and clear to the high, and then we'll likely test yesterday's high as well. Nasdaq remaining strong, continuing to make new highs. See if the S&P can join it. S&P quite weak so far. It's not going up with the market right now, or with tech, I should say. The market is not going up with tech. There we go. Starting to push above that little range. Watching that high. Once we get there, I will start trailing my stop. Actually, I'll trail it a little bit. I don't want to see it get back into that range. Nasdaq is really launching off here. See if we can go test yesterday's high. Come on, baby. Let's get yesterday's high. Let's do it. Probably get stopped in profit here. Nasdaq very much overextended. Come on, push up, baby. One last time. Give us one more push. Oh no, if it launches up, I'm gonna be so upset. Okay, cool. Now it's going far enough down that I'm glad I took profit. Getting a little bit of resistance here. ES didn't even quite touch yesterday's high. And Nasdaq. Big move here. Probably have to look at a larger channel. And it is looking possibly overextended for a bit. We may have a correction in store, but really liking what I'm seeing on the Nasdaq. Very strong today. Pushed above yesterday's high. Has lots of other levels to the upside. S&P correcting pretty steeply after this little uptrend played out. A lower high on ES. I'd actually be interested in taking this if it wasn't for how strong NQ is. All right, so ES moving down a little bit has a small downtrend. If we continue to reject at the EMA here, I could consider a short. That already pushed too low. NQ meanwhile is pulling back there right at the 21 EMA. This could be where it finds support, so be watching that closely. S&P making another attempt to get over the 21. Good morning, Trada. And Q finding some support at the 21. Does look like it might want to go higher. Yeah, ES does not want to go up right now. And Q finding another support bar there on the 21. It just really wants to go higher, and likely will if the S&P lets it. S&P trying to make it over the EMA here. Oof, market weakness continues. And that's really saying something if the S&P is not going to bounce when tech is just trying to rip. There is certainly some sellers active in the market here. Hyphon saying, I'm testing a custom strategy. What is the minimum profit factor I'd classify as good enough to try to forward test? It's a good question. It depends a lot on how much you've back tested. Like how many days of data are we talking about here? I would say in general, from my experience, back testing is often gives a much higher profit factor than that strategy performs in real life. Well, I would say maybe anything above 1.5 you could consider, because again, we're just talking about testing, right? So you could forward test. If you got 1.5, that's pretty decent. But good luck. That's awesome that you're having some success on the back testing. S&P looking like it perhaps wants to bounce here. Gonna try at least. Right at the EMA. See if it can break above. It's really trying here. And if ES starts to bounce, I mean, NQ could really skyrocket, and this, sellers might start to scramble on their positions. like this push up by ES. Let's see if we can get a pullback here. The EMA holds, I'll take a long, but it is important to note that we are more or less ranging on the S&P. It would be better to push above yesterday's high here. Yeah, that would give us much higher probability if we get above that key level and hold above it. All right, here we go, S&P. Again, I'll need to see a break above that key level and then a hold above it. And once we get that, we'll be good to go to trade again, looking for those longs. S&P stalling a little bit right at yesterday's high. Yeah, not breaking above here. Okay, finally, here's the break above yesterday's high. Still hasn't confirmed. We're going to be waiting for that. This could easily still reject and go back into the range. Right now, this is looking legit though. We'll just need to see that retest. The uptrend on NQ I'm looking at now is something more like this. NQ clearly showing that bulls are winning. It is not being played out. So we'll look for a clean pullback here. Nice 2 legs on the EMA. We can get an uptrend or a second entry long. However, ES needs to participate. This trend that it had previously did play out right here. Then the downtrend played out, and now we got a new trend starting right here. So this is a brand new trend, but we got to get above this key level to really be bullish. Getting some rejection there. I'm not looking for a long since we so far did not hold that key level there as support. The rejection off that key level, not a great sign if we're trying to long the S&P or either market really. The S&P could drop down after that rejection, could pull the Nasdaq with it, so we're just in waiting mode here. Yep, sellers pushing down off the high. And we got a nice little downtrend here on the S&P. I would consider a short if we get some rejection at the EMA there. This is not looking like a short setup with a solid push above the 21. Just going to be in wait and see mode here, with the ES just not wanting to push into bullish territory. A little bit more of a neutral zone here. Which is a shame because the Nasdaq looks like it's setting up beautifully. It got a nice pullback to the 21. First initial bounce off of there. That looks great. It has another pullback and a bullish bar. I may take it even with the S&P a little bit questionable. A little higher low on ES. Would look pretty good if we weren't in like right below that key level. Oof, that's a nice bar. Very, very tempting. All right, we are back above that key level. S&P looks like it may want to break out here. That's coinciding with the NQ still holding the 21. I want to see one more higher low on NQ and I'll get in there. All right, Nasdaq back at the moving average. But ES again facing resistance at the key level. We got to go back to waiting here. Back underneath the EMA, the battle continues here on ES for this key level. Does not look like buyers have a lot of juice. We've rejected it several times right at the open, and then 30 minutes ago, possible rejection again here today. And this could get things going to the downside, especially if the Nasdaq starts to drop. Kind of like that lower high if we get one. Yeah, if this turns around really bearish, I'll take the lower high. So far not happening though. Buyers looking to reclaim the 21. And of course, NQ still bullish. Bulls coming out to play here. One more attempt to get above this level. Let's see if it works this time. We're basically in a big wedge here on the S&P. Well, come on, buyers. Let's freaking go. Let's do this thing. If NQ wasn't so bullish, I would think this would probably be a bull trap, but tech has been wanting to rally all day, so I think this might be the real deal. If we can break above here. Another push below. If it weren't for the key level, I'd be interested in this higher low here. But continued rejections off that key level, I would actually, I'll flip. If we get a lower high, I'll take a short. So now be the fourth time we have rejected that level. In fact, I might take a short anyway. Kind of a wide stop though. Should taking it. Still got a chance if we get a lower high. Well, we're getting another rejection at this key level on the S&P. It does not look like bulls are going to win out. Just waiting for this to drag down the NQ2, which is very likely. And hopefully sellers can actually make a position and get this pushing towards the downside. If not, we're going to be basically range bound for the day. So yeah, we'll hope for some movement from the sellers. That's our best chance at a trend today. Yeah, but so far pretty decent trading conditions. I'm going to continue to trade the tournament. If you guys want to follow along with that, of course, all the Discord members are getting an inside peek at that throughout the day. Live feed of the trades I'm taking, but I'll also put updates on the free profit channel there in the Discord, which anyone can access, and then Twitter as well. But yeah, that's a nice move by the sellers. I'm looking for a pullback, and hopefully we can get a short soon. So hope it's a great day for you guys. Trade safe out there. We got some market movement, which is fun. Looking forward to it. And I will see you on the next one. Later.